Hello and welcome on Watches TV, and we're at the Parmigiani Fleurier booth here in Watches and Wonder with our good friend Guido. And so let's talk about some of the new watches you're presenting this year.
Of course. So last year, the talk of the fair was the Minute Rattrapante. You remember that?
Absolutely.
So this year we're adding a gold version of it. So it will be the same function, but everything is in pink gold, with the exception of the home time, which is in white gold.
Okay.
Okay. So this is easy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Very beautiful.
And this time we're adding a second world premiere because, as you know, in Parmigiani we're convinced that everything has not been already invented in watchmaking, and we think we can have ideas and do functions that don't exist or reinterpret functions that do exist. So this year it is the time of the Minute Rattrapante. It's a function that we have conceived thinking at how you master the time that you have at your disposal when you do something. Okay, it can be our interview. So you have 10 minutes with me. So you say, let's finish at 1:45. So you have a hidden minute hand under your time, minute time, and you advance it 5 minutes at the time, and then you have a fine tuning of 1 minute to get to the point in which our conversation should end, because I have another journalist right after you. So the time is elapsing, and you are getting to the moment, and you see with a glimpse of an eye the proportion of time you still have at your disposal, and then discreetly you get to the time when you have to say goodbye. But we're still in a nice conversation. We want to give another couple of minutes, so you master your delay and you don't stop it. And then when you say goodbye, you say ciao. So very discreet. It's a function that is not there when you don't need it, like the Minute Rattrapante, because when you don't need the function, you have to have your two-hander, very elegant, which is in line with the founder of the collection, which is the micro rotor. And when you need it, you have it. It's very playful, it's very discreet. And I had the idea by reinterpreting a bezel of a diving watch, and I said, why a diving watch should be delegated to the case? We are watchmakers, let's try to reproduce it with the movement. And this came out. It's a totally different thing. It's not a diver's watch anymore, but it's a function that didn't exist, and now you do it.
Okay. Yeah. And how have people responded to this? Because it's quite a surprise in a certain way.
Everybody is amused.
Yeah.
Somebody yesterday told me a nice sentence. It's a complication with a smile, and I like that sentence because it gives you an excitement, because you're playing with a function that is useful, because you can use it at home. Anything you want to cut your pasta al dente, and you have 7 minutes, you want to give a minute more, you manage that very easily. Or you need a presentation to do, and you have a public speech, and you have to manage it in 12 minutes. I mean, you have to go to the gates when you're in the lounge. You have to set the time when you have to close everything up and go. I mean, it's a function that you can invent the way that you use it, and it's up to you.
Kind of an easy timer type of function.
Exactly.
Excellent. And you have other pieces or other execution that you're presenting this year.
Platinum is a very important material in nature. It's the most prestigious, but yet it's the most understated too. So it's very Parmigiani in a sense. No? So we like to play with that, and we went on the founder of the collection, the Matrix, which is the micro rotor in steel and platinum bezel, and we did a full platinum version of it, which elevates the discretion to a level of elegance and timeliness, which is the purity of the design. The whiteness of the material is very fresh. It's very qualitative, because differently from the white gold, when you have to polish it, have to service it, it's a bit complicated with the rhodium treatment on it. And here it's like it is nature, so it's the metal in the flesh. And when you put it on, it's a different experience. I mean, this is a statement of refinement.
Yeah, very chic.
Very, very chic, very long-lasting in taste, very discreet, and different from the base, the founding reference, which I adore. I keep on wearing it since day one. But this elevates your elegance at also the price at a different.
Of course. And regarding the dial,
The dial is also in platinum.
Okay.
It's a sandblasted treatment, so micro beads of ceramics, very small, that drop with the gravity, so it's not bombarded with pressure. So very gently. The smaller the beads, the whiter it is, because the surface is just slightly touched. No, so it's very thin. The level of treatment that you put on, and this gives you a reflection of the light. It is very homogeneous, very in line with the mood that we want to give. You have the tourbillon, always in platinum. Last year we had the sandblasted tourbillon, but it was limited in 25 pieces. They all went very quickly, so we don't have a tourbillon in our assortment. So we decided to do a second version with a blue Milano color, always platinum dial, always sandblasted, but just coated with the blue Milano. And you can notice that the treatment is slightly darker. The color comes out a little bit more matte and a little bit more dark versus the guilloche, because in the guilloche you have the zapon, you have some reflections of the light that makes it a little bit brighter. But I like it because it's very formal, very, very suited now for the tourbillon complication. And last, what you will see today is the chronograph Rattrapante. That was the first limited edition 21 when we unveiled the collection. And it is done with the same concept, so platinum dial, very clean, and all in full pink gold. Now, you know, this watch is almost more beautiful on the back than on the front, because this movement is a piece of art. It's in solid gold, full gold in all the platine, on the bridges. You have anglage à main, so all these sharp angles, you cannot do it by machine, so it's done by hand. It's a manually winded, high frequency chronograph. 2 column wheels, one for the chronograph, one for the Rattrapante. It even has the signature of Michel, because when you on the barrel, because when you do such a masterpiece, you have to sign it. And view that in respect of Michel's philosophy, when you want to admire such a timepiece, you are not really happy to have a deployant buckle in your eyes. So we have. You are giving a complementary alligator strap, where we have developed the pin buckle specifically for this watch, so you can exchange it and you can look at the watch without anything interfering with your sight. And it's a limited edition of 30 pieces.
Okay, well, it makes sense indeed to be able to admire this beautiful movement. Yeah.
But you see the consistency of the collection.
Absolutely,
of
yeah. No,
the
absolutely.
elegance.
Yeah.
All the high end is done with the platinum dial and the sandblasted treatment, which is a code of the higher part of the assortment. All the rest is with the micro guilloche of the curly of the Grand Orge, if you want, and the colors are very subtle, very long-lasting, very elegant, and very Parmigiani.
And this coherence is reflected in the fact that your company is growing quite nicely.
Yes. Well, the demand took me by surprise, because I didn't expect such an acceleration. But this means that the prestige of the brand with which the brand was born, in the early days when Michel really positioned it with a tribute to mechanical art, because that's his life, that's his mission to perpetuate the art of mechanics in the future. And the collectors, the horophiles that appreciated that work, placed the brand up with the highest in terms of prestige, and this remained in the memory. You know? Even in the years in which the brand had a little bit lost itself and lost the contact with this audience, very elitist and very understated and very discreet, a crowd which is not loud, a crowd that doesn't measure luxury by how much money you have in the bank, but because you have the refinement and the understatement to discern, to understand what craft is behind what idea. This purism that we are putting in the collection is a mindset first of all.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a style, and the mindset is not only in the aesthetic, it's also in the way you conceive a complication, it's how you craft it. It has to be really without compromises, and this is for a crowd which is extremely exigent and also private, no? So that's why we took out the logo from Parmigiani in writing, because it is redundant, unnecessary, and it's a signature, an aesthetic signature code that we put on the dial at 12 o'clock to say that's for me, you know.
Yeah. Well, sincerely, congratulations, and
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy for you and your team. Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for having
much.
us. Bye there.